All right, so go ahead and get into a comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. You want to cross your legs in front of you. Just make sure they're not stacking. Place one in front of the other. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze. Just start checking in with your body, doing a nice quick scan. Maybe you want to raise your spine by pulling on that string from the top of your head, feeling space in between each vertebrae in the neck, down the spine. Your hands can be palms up or palms down on your knees. Start to pay attention to your breath. No need to change it or judge it. Just pay attention to what it's doing. Wherever you are, you're breathing, can you transition into those deep belly breaths, expanding the belly, filling up the entirety of the lungs. Exhaling out the chest. Do a few more of those, filling up the lungs as much as possible. While you're here, can you clear your mind of all thoughts? Just let everything just melt away. You feel thoughts coming into your brain. You can let them race by like a train on a track, just observing them. Imagine that space in your mind where you should have thoughts become just a bright white light. Maybe an empty white room, maybe just an empty white space. As you're imagining that white space, physically taking up your mind, you imagine expanding down your whole body. Maybe with each inhale, you inhale more of that positivity, more of that white light. With each inhale, filling up your body. And each exhale, you're letting go of any negative thoughts or anything that's no longer serving you. You can imagine that bright light over your whole body, emanating from your entire being. Maybe it radiates off you. Maybe it fills the space around. Maybe you can control its shape with your breath, expanding it with each inhale. Maybe it deflates a little with each exhale. See if you can imagine any space in your body that's maybe sore, stuck, or in a little bit of pain. See if you can imagine those spaces filling with that white light, taking that pain and exhaling it out. Finish up with a few rounds of lion's breath, feeling this light all encompassing your body. Maybe when your lion's breath exhale, maybe with your tongue sticking out, this just light can just pour out of your mouth. Inhaling for lion's breath. Exhaling. Tongue out, light exploding from your body. One more time, inhaling. Tongue out, exploding. Beautiful clouds of light everywhere. From here, you can switch the crossing of your legs. You can gently flutter open your eyes. We'll start by lifting the arms into the air. Exhaling the left arm down, reaching that right arm over top. Letting the shoulder melt down the side. Instead of attacking the ear here, let it melt down while you stretch the bicep. On your next exhale, bring that shoulder down to the hip. Inhaling back up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. If you notice your legs or sit bones popping up in here, just make sure you put them back down. Exhale. And then inhale back up. We'll lift that opposite arm up in the air again. Exhale back down, reaching that arm over, stretching those side muscles, relaxing that shoulder down from the ear. From here, you can exhale, bring that shoulder to the knee. Inhale back up. Two more like that. Exhaling that shoulder. Popping that sit bone back down. And one more shoulder to the knee. And inhaling back up. From here, we'll bring our arms back up into the air, stretching those fingertips, feeling that light that was inside your body, emanating from each of those fingertips. If it were paint, you would be covering the entire room with paint coming from your fingertips. You can control it. Make a design. Do that. Do this. Make a design. Draw a dragonfly. Check in with that shoulders, melt them down from your back. Here we'll push the arms out to the side, like you're pushing the walls away from you in either direction. And we'll just rotate the arms and the shoulders up a few times. Bending those fingers if that's more readily available to you. Making fists if that's more readily available to you. And from here, we'll make our biceps. Dropping one arm down. Let's make two big muscles here. And then drop to the other side. Make two big bicep muscles on either side. Rotating our arms. Seeing if you can feel that same rotation feeling while making your biceps. Checking in with the ribs, making sure they're not sticking out. And we'll reach those arms out to the sides again, reach them up into the sky, bending one arm down. We'll place the opposite hand onto the elbow. Again, checking in with those ribs, bending from your shoulder, tucking those ribs back in. If you would like to reach for your bind, you can remove your hand from the top of your elbow and reach for your fingertips behind you, your hand or your t-shirt or whatever you can reach. Go ahead and exhale your arms, rotate them out to the side again, like you're pushing walls away from you. Inhale, both arms back up. We'll bend the opposite arm down, placing the hand on top of the elbow, using just the pressure from the hand. Checking in with those ribs, really reaching with the shoulders here. Reaching, stretching in the shoulders here. All my ribs want to do is take the stretch. Option to go into the half bind here, bringing your hand back behind you, reaching for your hand or your t-shirt. Remembering that all bodies are different, so if you can reach a little bit further on one side than the other, that's no big deal. I can reach a mile further on one side than the other. Exhale your arms all the way up, nice and straight. Again, pushing the walls out next to you. Inhaling back up. From here, we're just gonna go ahead and bend forward. You don't need to keep your back straight. You can ground in your back here. Just a nice, gentle forward bend. Coming down as far as you're comfortable. And then walking the fingertips back. Walking the fingertips back behind you, rotating the hands so that the thumbs are pointing towards the front of the room. Reaching that chest through your shoulders like you're in a cow pose. Shining that chest towards the ceiling. And just inhaling. On your next exhale, you can release your arms, you can release your legs in front of you. You bring these, sorry, baby girl. You bring these a little shake out. Bring one knee close into your chest, hug it in as tight as you can. We'll place the foot on the outside of the opposite leg. Take the same arm as extended leg, reach up into the air, hook that elbow around your knee, and twist to the back of the room. Inhaling nice and straight into the air for a twist. Right. Nice long back, exhale to twist. Twisting from the midsection, inhaling here. Exhaling, stick to the back. Imagining you're bringing out your stomach like a dish. Exhaling a nice little counter twist to the other side. Then coming back to center. Extending your legs out, giving your knees a little shake out again, back and forth. Hugging that knee into the chest. Placing that foot on the outside of the opposite leg. Same arm as extended leg. Reach up into the air. For some reason, I lean back this far. Make sure your back is nice and straight in the air. Reaching that arm up, hook that elbow around the knee. Reach your hand back and twist to the back of the room. Inhale, nice, long back. Exhale, twisting at that midsection, acting like you're twisting a dish rag. Right. Bringing out, bringing up. When you reach your sit bones deep here, maybe find a stretch between your sit bones and your outer thigh. On your next exhale, you can do a nice little counter twist to the opposite side. Come back to center. We'll give your knees a little shake out. And we will come underneath this, we'll come up onto our shin. Placing the toes flat on the ground. Walking your fingertips up. Tucking those toes under to the best of your abilities. Maybe a little pinky toe, second pinky toe. Be a little help. And wherever you are here, you can stay if you're happy. You can walk your hands up your thighs. Try to get a nice toe stretch here. Up in hero's pose. If the stretch is too intense, you can always walk your fingertips back. When you've had enough of that, we're going to pull in the string connected to our belly button to lift the waist up in the air, leaving the toes where they are. Arms at your sides. You can adjust your stance any way you need to here. Maybe if you want to widen your knees a little bit. Inhale those arms straight into the air. Then we'll exhale one down, windmilling that back behind you until you find your heel. Inhaling here and then exhaling to windmill the other arm behind you until you find that opposite. Stretching the front of your thighs here. You can imagine that string pulling your belly button forward if you'd like a little deeper stretch. Your chin should not be collapsing into your chest. You can shine that chest towards the sky like you're at cow pose. On your next exhale, you can windmill that first arm back. Windmill that second arm back. Pull that belly button a little bit forward in space. Untuck your toes, glue them to the top of the mat, and then place your hands down on the mat for cow pose. Coming into, I'm sorry, I said cow pose. I meant neutral flat back pose. From here, you can go ahead and drop your utter shy mat chest forward. Come into a cow pose. Gently breathing in cow. Feeling the tops of the feet glued to the mat, pushing the ground away from you with the pads of your fingers and the palm. Imagine your ears sinking down into your shoulders. You can go ahead and move your neck down like you're sinking your ears into your shoulders. And now shoot that neck straight up and straight forward so that you're not scrunching anywhere. On your next exhale, you can start to round in your back, dropping that head down, tucking those toes under. And coming into cat pose. Taking a few breaths in cat pose. And on your next inhale, coming into cow. And exhaling to cat. Inhaling for cow. And exhaling for cat. Continue to do this motion at your own pace and your own breath. Waking up those hips, waking up that spine. You can introduce S and C curves into the spine. Any movements that feel nice to you. And when you're ready to come to stillness, we'll gently extend the left arm forward, reaching those fingertips in space, shooting that light or paint out of your hands. Reaching as much as you can, and then we'll extend the opposite leg, the opposite direction. Same with the toes. You can flex your foot or extend your foot, if you prefer. The mat, press into the mat to prevent your ears from trying to eat your shoulders. You can exhale to bring those two limbs back down to the mat. On your next inhale, we'll extend the opposite arm into the air, out in front of you. Extending that opposite leg back behind, reaching in space, feeling that energy emitting from your fingers and toes. Keeping a nice flat back here, making sure you're not sinking into your hips. Your ears are not scrunching into your shoulder. Exhaling back to the mat. On your next exhale, go ahead and tuck the toes under, press back into space, and come into downward facing dog. From here, you can pedal out through the feet. And a nice stretch in the back of both calves. And if you find a spot that feels a little bit more stuck or a little bit more sore, you can spend a minute there. Breathe, stretching out the back. Had enough of that, you can come to stillness in your downward facing dog. Inhaling those heels into the air and exhaling them back down to the mat. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hips, drop the foot down behind you, and lift your arm in the air for rock star pose if you'd like. Or you can just stay here. On your next exhale, you can come back to three-legged dog. Breathing in three-legged dog, we'll take a nice big inhale here. And exhale, roll forward to plank, bringing that knee to your elbow. Breathing in plank. And on your next exhale, let's press back to three-legged dog. Two more like that. Inhaling forward to plank, bring that knee to the elbow. Exhaling, pressing back to down. One more, inhaling, knee forward to the elbow. And exhaling back to three-legged dog. On your next exhale, you can place your foot back onto the mat. We'll inhale that opposite leg into the air. Exhale, bend your knee, drop that foot back behind you. Come into rock star pose by lifting your left hand into the air if that's available to you. Breathe in here, wherever you are. On your next exhale, you come back to your downward facing. Back to your three-legged dog. Nice big inhale here. We're going to exhale, bend the knee, bring that knee forward towards forward. Inhaling back up to downward facing dog. Exhaling, rolling forward plank, bringing that knee to the elbow. Inhaling, three-legged dog. Exhaling, elbows forward. Inhaling back with three-legged dog. Exhaling your foot back to the mat. And stepping forward to come into a forward fold. This forward fold can be as shallow or as deep as you'd like. Your knees can be bent or straight. Make sure you're not falling into your arches here. You feel supported by the outer edges of your. Maybe you feel that string on the top of your head pulling towards the ground. On your next inhale, place our hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Check in with the bottoms of your feet. Make sure you're not falling into those arches. You feel lifted. Your knees are over your ankles. Your hips are over your knees. Shoulders over your hips. From here, we're just going to tuck and tilt the pelvis. And then when you feel nice and warmed up there, we're just going to go from left to right. Again, trying to keep the movements established to your hips, not to your knees. Your knees will move, your knees can move. Just see if you can isolate the movement as much as possible. Maybe you make nice, slow reaches to the left and right. Maybe you make really quick ones. And then just use your knees to be real exaggerated and silly. And get both outer edges of those hips really nice and stretched out. And then you can come back to stillness. Start just by tilting and tucking the tailbone. And we'll go ahead and tuck that tailbone under, move it to the right, then tilt it back, move it to the left, and then forward. Then make a circle here, and then go in the other direction. And continue to make this movement in both directions, waking up all those organs, making those digestive juices flow. Really letting everything under the belly button wake up. And when you've had enough of that, and you'd like to come to stillness, you give a little shake through your knee, And we'll continue by lifting the arms into the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Go ahead and exhale those shoulders down the back. Pretend like you're holding that beach ball here, and we're just going to gently lean to one side. Holding that beach ball, reaching over. Sorry if you can't see the other. Holding that beach ball, reaching over. Lifting back up into space. Exhaling to the opposite side. Holding that beach ball, feeling that pressure there. Not dipping that bottom arm too low. Exhaling back to the center. From here, we're checking in with our midpoint. We're all in one single line. Keeping our hips as steady as possible, just wring out that midsection, continuing to hold those arms above your head. And continue the movement into the shoulder if you'd like. You don't have to keep your shoulders stationary. Just wringing out that dish towel of a midsection. Waking up all those organs above the belly button. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling to the other side. Again, keeping those hips as stationary as possible. Twisting from that belly button. Continuing the movement with the shoulders. Holding onto that beach ball above your head. Exhaling back to the center. You're gonna imagine we're leaning back, shining that chest forward into the air. You're gonna throw the beach ball behind you, keeping those elbows nice and straight, feeling a heaviness in your hands as they reach behind you. Before you fold forward, imagine that there's something you're folding over at your belly button. Take a nice big inhale here. And we'll exhale, folding over that thing. Maybe it's a clothesline, maybe it's a fence. Making sure your knees are nice and equally spaced and not knocking into each other. Fold a little bit more deeply than you were before. Maybe that means your head's a little closer to the ground. Maybe that means your knees are a little bit less bent. Maybe you feel space in the back of the thighs here. Maybe you feel space in the back of the neck. You can nod your head yes. You can shake your head no. Move your head I don't know. From here, we're going to inhale the hands on shins for a nice long flat back. Then exhale to fold forward. We'll plant the hands, step back, find toes, run through your vinyasa or lower your knees. Chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a look over our upward facing dog. Pressing back to a down. Nice deep inhale here. On your exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. From here, we'll place hands on shins for a nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhaling the arms above the head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward, plant the hands, step back to your plank pose, run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back, forward down. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling the hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward and inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhale your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose, run through your vinyasa, or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for low cobra or upward facing dog, and press back to a down dog. Nice deep breath and downward facing dog. And on your exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. From here, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward and inhaling to gently roll up to stand. On your next inhale, lift your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose, work through your vinyasa or lower your knees. Chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, pressing back for a down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward, turn a forward facing fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward, and inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Checking in with your shoulders, make sure they're melting down your side. On your next inhale, let's lift the arms above the head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flex. Exhale, folding forward, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Run through your vinyasa, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for low cobra, up, or upward facing dog. Exhaling back to a down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of your neck. On your next inhale, we'll gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous one. I want more of easy, but cool. All right, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. You can heel toe your feet together if you're more comfortable that way, or you can keep your feet as wide as you'd like. Inhaling your arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. We're gonna tuck that tailbone under like we're about to sit back in a chair. Bend the knees and bring that butt down for chair pose. Those arms out front. On your next exhale, you can fold forward, plant your hands, and step back to plank pose. From here, you can lower your knees, chest, and chin, or run through your vinyasa, coming up for an upward facing dog, or low cobra. On your next exhale, you can press back to down dog. Breathing in down dog. On your next inhale, you'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. You're gonna bring that back heel down, glue the top of the foot to the mat. Feeling that scissoring action between the heel and the knee pulling towards each other. You're gonna lift the chest off of the thigh. Pulling that belly button forward as much as you are comfortable with. Feeling a stretch in that front thigh of the left leg. From here, you can inhale those arms up above your head. Gaze at your thumbs for a gentle bow. Sighing those shoulders down your back. On your next exhale, we're going to frame that front foot. And then we're going to tuck those back toes under. Bring that back foot in about 12 inches. 6, 10, 12 inches, 18 inches. Whatever you can do to get both heels onto the mat. Once both heels are on the mat and your hips are nice and square in space, you can start to pull the forehead towards the front shin. Breathing here and runner stretch. On your next exhale, you can bring your hands to the mat. You can kick both back. Come into your plank pose. Run through your vinyasas or lower your knees. Chest and chest to the mat. Bring into a low cobra upward facing dog and pressing back to a down dog. On your next inhale, you can lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that foot forward, up it if you need to. We'll bring that front knee down to the mat, glue the top of the foot to the ground. Feeling that scissoring action, pulling your heel towards your knee here for stability. You're going to lift the chest off of the thigh. If you'd like to bring that belly button a little bit further forward in space, you can. Feel a stretch on the front thigh of that leg, loop to the ground, I guess. Here, you can lift your arms in the air for a gentle back. Staring at those thumbs. And on your exhale, you can frame that front foot, get that back foot, tuck back toes under, pick that foot up about 12 inches, whatever you need to get both heels onto the mat. Once your heels are on the mat and your hips are square in space, you can start to pull that forehead towards your shin. On your next exhale, you can go back to the mat, bring your feet back in space, run through your vinyasa or lower your knees. Chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back. Down. Breathing in downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward, so you forward fold at the front. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. And inhale to gently roll up to a standing position. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. You're going to inhale the arms above the head for Urdhva. Bend the knees, tuck that tailbone under to your chair pose. Exhale to fold forward, plant your hands, step back to your plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to the down. Hanging down dog. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down. Keep that front knee nice and bent, and we're going to lift up into warrior one. Breathing here. Outer edge of that back foot is glued onto the mat. On your next exhale, you can bring your arms back behind you. Interlace your hands behind your back. And bring that shoulder down to your knee. For your home. On your next inhale, you can come back to your warrior one. We'll exhale to frame that front foot. Kick that foot back to meet the back. Run through your vinyasa, lower your knees, chest to the mat. Inhale for low cobra, upward facing dog. Pressing back to a down. On your next inhale, bring that left leg into the air for a three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knees, swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. Come into your low lunge. And rotate that back heel down. Bring your chest up for warrior one. Try not to sink into those arches, keeping that outer edge of that back foot glued to the mat. Inhaling your arms into the air. On your next exhale, you bring your arms behind you. You can interlace your fingers behind your back, weird thumb on top this side. We'll exhale to bring that shoulder down to the knee. On your next inhale, you can push back into your warrior one. Exhale to frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back. Turn your plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling to the low cobra, upward facing dog. And pressing back. The down dog. Breathing in downward facing dog. Your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold of the foot. From here, you can gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous. From here, you can give your hips a little shake out back and forth, give your knees a little shake out back and forth. I'm gonna take a drink of water. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. And inhale the arms above your head. Exhale, bring yourself into chair pose, whatever expression of that you'd like. We're gonna bring the hands to heart center. We're gonna place one elbow on the outside of the opposite knee. Come into a chair pose twist. Really pressing that hand against the knee, feeling the twisting in your torso. Trying to keep your hips as equal as possible. On your next inhale, we'll come back to center and exhale down to the other side. Pressing your palm against your palm, Elbow against your knee, twisting from that midsection. On your next inhale, come back to center. You can fold forward on your exhale. Plant your hands and step back to your plank pose. Running through your vinyasa or lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And pressing back to a down. Inhaling those heels into the air here, exhaling them back down to the mat. You inhale your right leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knees, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down. And we'll windmill the arms up into warrior two. Reaching your arms in either direction, keeping that knee closest to a 90-degree angle as you possibly can. On your next inhale, bringing that palm forward and then back in space. Checking in with that front knee. Not dumping any weight in that back arm. Straightening that knee out. Reaching forward and then down for triangle pose. Bending your knee here. Pressing back into warrior two. And exhaling down into side angle. On your next exhale, you can windmill your arms down, that foot back to meet the back into your plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees. Chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And pressing back to the down. On your next inhale, let's bring the left leg into the air for a three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. You're gonna rotate that back heel down. Windmill the arms up to your warrior two. Front knee as close to a 90-degree angle as possible, arms reaching out in either direction. Your next inhale, bring that palm up and forward, and then back to reverse your warrior. Go and straighten that front knee, reach forward and down for triangle pose. On your next inhale, you can bend that front knee, come back to warrior two, exhaling down to side angle pose. On your next exhale, you can windmill those arms down, keep that front foot back to meet the back, into your plank pose. Run through your vinyasa over lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a little over upward facing dog. And pressing back to a down dog. Breathing in downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward through a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can just slowly stand up to mountain pose, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous one. All right, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Placing your arms to your sides. Make sure you're not falling into those arches. Nice and sturdy. on your feet, connecting to the ground, inhaling those arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling into your chair pose. Inhale here, nice and big, and then exhale to fold forward. Plant your hands, step back to your plank pose, run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to down dog. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog, bend that knee, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. You're going to rotate that back heel down and windmill the arms up for warrior two. Bring that palm forward and back to reverse your warrior. Give that knee a rest, come forward and down for triangle pose. Bend that knee again, bring your forearm to the thigh for side angle. From here, we'll windmill the arms down. Walk them to the side of the mat so you're in a wide-legged forward fold. From here, you can practice tucking and tilting the tailbone in the micro movements. See if you can't find any space in the back of the thighs. From here, we're going to heel toe the feet together and come into a nice wide squat, whatever that means to you. Oh, on your next exhale, you can bring that bum back up in the air. Walk your fingertips around, kick that front foot back to meet the back. Swing into your plank pose, you can run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin. Mat, inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. Breathing in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the left leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee. Bring that foot forward, help it if you need to. And rotate that back heel down. When you're ready, we'll windmill those arms up so you're in a warrior two. Now we'll bring that palm forward and back to reverse your warrior. Giving that knee a rest, we'll come forward and down for triangle pose. Bend that front knee and bring your forearm to the thigh for side angle. We're going to rotate those arms down and come to our wide-legged forward fold again. This time you can heel toe your feet together, whichever distance you'd like. Come into your normal spot, whatever that means to you. Maybe your heels are up, maybe they're on the ground. Go ahead and exhale, folding forward. Press that bum back into the sky. Make your way over to the front of the mat. Pressing yourself into your plank pose. You can run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest, chin to the mat. We'll inhale for low or upward facing dog. And press back to a down. Breathing in down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. From here, see if you can micro movements, tilt and tuck your tailbone. leg room. And for some reason, the whole top half of my body. And then when you're ready, we'll gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Give your hips a little shake out, give your knees a little shake out, your shoulders a little shake out. From here, we're going to come into a balancing pose, whatever that means to you. We are going to come in a tree. So you can either kickstand that heel to your ankle, your foot against your calf, but bring that heel into your inner thigh. As long as your foot is not touching your knee, should be fine. Hands can be on your hips at heart center, branches blowing in the breeze. You can find a stationary point to stare at that can help you with your balance. And just breathe here. And when you're ready, you can remove that foot from your leg, bring that knee forward, bring that, extend your knee out, bring the foot forward, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit more, and let it out. You give yourself a little massage on that standing leg. We'll come to the other side. Kickstanding that heel against your ankle, pressing the foot against the calf, or bringing the heel into the inner thigh. Hands can be at heart center, on your hips, or branches blowing in the breeze. When you're ready, you can remove that foot from your leg, bring that knee forward, extend that knee, bring your foot up a little higher, maybe a little higher, and let it down. Give a massage to that standing leg of the other left foot. Give your legs a little shake out. And we'll come back to mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhaling the arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. Let's exhale to fold forward. Here you can plant your hands and step back to plank pose. Run through your vinyasa. Or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Pressing back to a down dog. On your next inhale, bringing that right leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhaling, bending that knee and bringing your foot forward so you're in lizard pose. Your hand, knee. Hand, foot. In lizard pose, you can keep your back knee up here and just press the ground away from you. Next exhale, go ahead and tighten those low abdominals, pushing the mat away. We're going to bring that foot back up into our three-legged dog. And exhale, bend the knee and swing that shin forward from pigeon pose. Making sure that foot is straight back behind you. You can line your hip point up or heel. Bringing that chest forward and then coming down. Inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. Come into a tabletop pose. Give your hips a little shake out here. Give your maybe feet a little rumble, a little shake out. Tuck those back toes under, press back into downward facing dog, bending that left leg and bringing it into three-legged dog. Exhaling to open up those hips and bring that foot forward into lizard pose. Or foot hand. Keeping that knee up, pressing the ground away from you here. Your next exhale, tightening those lower abdominals and pressing that foot back into three-legged dog. Nice big inhale here. Exhale to bend the knee and swing that shin forward, setting up for your pigeon pose. Making sure that leg is nice and straight back behind you. Inhaling the chest into the air and then folding forward. On your next inhale, you bring your head, neck, and chest off the mat. Come back to your tabletop pose, giving your hips a little shake out. Tuck those back toes under, press back into your down dog, roll forward to plank, and then drop down onto the rolling onto the back. Bring your feet about as wide as the mat and just windshield wiper your knees back and forth. You can hug those knees into your chest nice and tight. Give yourself a big hug. You can rock back and forth. You can sway to and fro. You can make circles with your knees, giving yourself a nice little back massage. Make sure you go both directions if you do that. Releasing those feet back down to the mat, about hips width distance apart. Reach so you can just about graze the heels with your fingertips. And we'll start with just tilting and tucking the tailbone. When you're ready, we're going to tuck that tailbone under, lift the hips into the air, and come into a bridge pose. You can bring your shoulders underneath you. You can interlace your hands behind your back. Take 3 to 5 good breaths. Release your fingers, release your shoulders, release your spine back down to the mat. And windshield wiper out your knees again. When you're ready, come to stillness, tuck that tailbone under, and lift your hips up into the air for bridge pose. Option 2, wiggle those shoulder blades underneath you and interlace your hands behind your back. Breathing here. Release your hands, you can release your shoulder blades, you can release your spine back down to the mat. Windshield wiper out your knees here, back and forth. One last time. Go ahead and tuck that tailbone under, lift the hips up in space. Option to bring the shoulder blades behind you and release your fingers off of the back. 3 to 5 good breaths here. And release your hands, release your shoulder blades, release your spine back down to the mat. Windshield wiper your knees back and forth a few times. And when you're ready, we'll come into a simple inversion, whatever that means to you. Put a block underneath your sacrum. You could bring your legs up against the wall. You can lift your back for a short supported shoulder stand, whatever you want to do to bring your heels above your heart. And you can release back down to the mat, release any prompts you may have. Again, we'll windshield wiper those knees back and forth. Hug those knees into your chest, nice and tight. Release the left leg down. We'll bring that right ankle to your left knee. Bring your left leg back up. Interlace your hands behind your left thigh and press that right knee away from you with your right elbow. If you're happy here, stay. If you can't find a place that's sore or stuck here, gently rock back and forth. Probably eventually find something near your sit bones or the back of the thighs that maybe needs a little bit more attention. Release your hands, release your legs, release your feet back to the mat. Windshield wiper your knees out again. This time we'll place that left ankle on the right knee. Bring that right knee up in the air. Flex both feet. You can interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Press that left knee away from you with your elbow. If you're happy here, you can stay. If not, you can rock back and forth or pull that thigh towards you a little bit closer to maybe find a spot that's a little bit more sore or stuck or that needs a little bit more attention. Usually around the sit bones or the back of the thighs. Next exhale, you can release your legs back down to the mat. You can windshield wiper your knees back and forth. And when you're ready, we'll hug both knees into the chest, nice and tight. We're gonna drop that left leg down so it's released, relaxed against the mat. We're gonna hold that right leg into the chest nice and tight. Flex your foot here, you can put your toe here. When you're ready, we're gonna take that right knee, and we're just gonna bring it across the body. You can take your thumb and get into your hip. Keep that hip in place as you just stretch that thigh across the body. Maybe you feel a little bit of a stretch in your inner thigh, your psoas muscles. Then you can gently pass that leg to the other hand. Just pull your leg out to the side. Again, taking your hand to your hip, steady yourself, and just open up in that inner thigh, psoas area. Next inhale, you can bring your leg back to center. We'll bring that left leg in nice and tight. Then your next exhale will drop both knees to one side for your gentle twist. Your arms can be cartoon cactus arms. It can be spread out. Out in either direction. You can have your hands on your knees. Inhaling here. On your next inhale, bring those knees back to center, hugging them into the chest nice and tight. This time we'll release the right leg down, holding that left leg into your chest. Placing your knee in your right hand, you can gently drag that knee across the body, keeping the hip generally where it is. Pass that knee into the left hand, holding that knee out to the side. Again, keeping the hip in place. On your next inhale, come back to center. We'll hug both knees into the chest. This time, drop them over to the left side. Again, your arms can be outstretched in either direction. You can have cartoon cactus arms. You can have one hand upon your knees. On your next inhale, you can bring your into your chest, hook them nice and tight. Rock back and forth here, give yourself that little back massage. Rotate the knees in both directions. When you're ready, we reach into the insoles of the feet to a happy baby. Breathing here, whatever happy baby like to express. Just gently winding down. Release your hands, release your legs down. Once your final resting pose, letting all your hard work ease into your muscles and bone. Begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. Make small movements in your fingers and toes. When you're ready, you can roll onto one side. Using your arm as a pillow, take a breath in the fetal position. Then with that same slow quality of movement, come up to a comfortable seat. Close with one Om, hands at heart center, inhaling for Om. Om. Namaste.